guys, welcome back to another video of ThatCarLife, and today we're going to be talking about my very first car. So my very first car was a 1998 Honda Integra DC2 VTIR, bit of a mouthful, which was otherwise known as Veronica to everyone who knew me and the car while I had it. So the story of this car starts all the way back in 2015 when I was 16 years old and I was in year 11 of high school. Fuck, I'm old. Now, I've always been obsessed with cars pretty much my whole entire life. Like since I was a toddler, always playing with car toys, car mats. Like I've just always been obsessed with cars, just no matter what. So you can imagine when I was 16 years old and I was getting my learner's license, like how bad I wanted a car. Like obviously, like it's my main passion, my main obsession. So you can imagine how much I was like pestering my parents to let me buy my own car. It was pretty bad. I think I annoyed them to death, and I still do to this day. But yeah, I was basically begging them every single day, like, let me buy a car, let me buy a car. All right, so I had my very first job at Woolies when I was 15. I got that job, and I was saving up for, I think, about a year, and I ended up having enough to buy my own car. Like, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough to buy something decent. After saving that amount of money, it was just really a matter of just convincing my parents to let me actually buy a car. That was really it. Like, I had the money, I just had to convince them to let me buy it. Yeah, so that's pretty hard for a 16-year-old to do when they're in year 11 of high school. You know, not many 16-year-olds on their L's, you know, are allowed to buy their own car. So I had kind of a task ahead of me there. And you're probably wondering, Jordan, how did you do it? How did you convince your parents? You might be 16 yourself and trying to figure out how to convince your parents how to get your first car. So what actually worked for me, and this is no word of a lie, I actually made my own PowerPoint presentation about why I should get my own car. And I interviewed family members, friends, like basically saying why they think I'm responsible enough to buy my own car and all these reasons why I should do it, I should get one. And I put the PowerPoint presentation in the living room on the TV, and I went through all these points. And so doing that presentation and also explaining that I wanted to learn manual, we didn't have a manual car, it actually worked. And my parents were like, okay, you know what, that's true, all these points are good. And they actually saw the effort I went through by doing that presentation, and they're like, you know what, fine, let's look for one. So it actually worked. Yeah, and that night I actually went on Gumtree and I started looking at Hondas. I've always been into Hondas because I've had a few friends and family that have had like Hondas and VTEC and stuff like that. Like my friend Jason, he had a B-Series swapped AJ Civic, and my godbrother Sam, he had a DC2 Integra with VTEC as well. Yeah, and so like knowing all these people that have Hondas, it like really influenced me in like getting an Integra myself and getting a Honda. So yeah, that very night I went on Gumtree and was straight away looking for Hondas, and I actually ended up finding that very night the car that I was eventually going to get in the next few days. And I actually still have the screenshots from that ad where I found Veronica, my Integra. I'll show you guys here. So as you can see from these screenshots, she was pretty much stock. She basically just had coilovers and a muffler, and a few other little things in there. So yeah, it was a really good base, and it was a good price as well. So it was up for $5.5 grand, as you can see. But I actually ended up getting it for $4,700, which is pretty good, especially for what it had. And yeah, it was a really good find. So after finding this ad, that very weekend, I went with my godbrother Sam, who also had a DC2 VTIR, and his dad and my dad. And we went and looked at the car, test drove it, and I'll never forget being in the back seat during that test drive, and everyone was telling me like you can't show too much excitement because, you know, it's hard to get the price down. I was loving it so much, and I'll never forget when VTEC was hitting that car for the first time, I had the biggest smile on my face. I fell in love straight away. Like I knew this is my car, like I have to have it. And yeah, so we ended up finishing up the test drive, negotiated, got a good deal, and I got my first car at 16 years old. The video that you're seeing right now, this is right after the test drive, and I'm just going over the car, just having a look at it. And I was literally in love. Like I was freaking out. Like my heart was racing a million miles an hour. This was basically the day I've waited my whole entire life for, and I still can't believe I got such a good car. Like, yeah, I'm just so grateful that I got this car. So I was just really, really excited. This next clip was my godbrother Sam hitting VTEC in my car for the first time. It sounded really good. That was pretty much stock. It it sounded really good and it went really hard, and needless to say, I was madly in love from the very first day I saw it and was driving in it. So I learnt manual in that car, and I basically was just driving to and from school in it, and then driving on weekends learning manual, and eventually I got my Ps about half a year later. And as obviously first thing I'm gonna do, drive all my mates around and hit VTEC, which I do right here. And getting my Ps in this car was such a good experience. Like, I got to go on plenty of car cruises, just like here. I went for a nice drive with my cousin's S15, and I went on some other nice big car cruises and stuff like that. It was just a lot of fun. Like, I had a really good experience just like getting into the car scene and driving and experiencing it, and it was a lot of fun. Eventually the time came where it was time to start modifying it. So with the help of my godbrother Sam and our friend Halabi, we decided to do my rocker cover and spray that red, and then also respray my VTIR blades black. So as you can see in these photos, we were doing that, and yeah, I think it actually turned out really good, and it made me fall in love with the car even more. This next clip is pretty funny. It's when they lowered the car down for the first time and I freaked out and everyone was laughing at my reaction.
Oh, bro. Oh, look at that. Oh, shit.
Yeah, as you can see from these photos, it actually turned out really nice. Like some subtle touches like that actually transformed the car pretty big. So yeah, I was really happy with it. And that blue Integra that I'm parked next to, that's my godbrother's car. And yeah, it was really cool having them next to each other like that. Alright, so a couple months later, my friend Jason that I mentioned earlier with the B-Swaps Civic, he actually helped me out with my sound system. So the car came with a 12-inch Alpine Type R sub, but it wasn't connected or anything like that. And me and Jason spent a few days, well mainly Jason, I just passed him tools and stuff because I had no idea what I was doing. Jason was a legend, helped me out, and we installed a full sound system, all new speakers, and connected the sub, and he did a really good job, and yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. I remember it was a pain in the ass, it took us a few days, but the end result was amazing. I think I have a clip here of the sub, and I'll never forget, this subwoofer was so loud it used to set off car alarms. You can see it here. And after the install, I let Jason have a drive with Veronica, and Jason gave it, which you will see here. And after that, I just enjoyed the car for a little bit. I didn't really do anything to it for, I'd say, about 5-6 months. I was just driving it, enjoying it, going to car meets, going on cruises, and I didn't really do anything. Probably the only thing I did during that time was I got a new like big Canon muffler because my other one kept falling off, like snapping from the weld, which was really annoying. So my cousin Chris helped me weld up a new exhaust. So as you can see here, there's a big size difference. So the new exhaust was massive compared to my old one. And here's just some sound clips from after we installed it. So a couple months after I did that muffler, I went with my friend Halabi, and I ended up installing a new set of Mugen headers, and we went to this workshop and got them put in. So I'll show you guys some clips and some photos and some sound clips from that now. Yeah, the headers really like transformed the look of the engine bay, and it really changed the sounds as well. It made it sound a lot deeper and raspier, and yeah, I really liked having those headers in. So yeah, I enjoyed the car for a little bit more after that, a few more months, and then finally after about, I'd say about 2 years, I finally got a new set of wheels. So I ended up getting some RPF1 replica wheels in white, which I love the look of it. Having black on like pure white wheels, I love that decision. And I actually have a few videos on this channel if you go back to when I first put those wheels on. But yeah, I love the look of those wheels, and to this day, black on white, you can't beat it. I love it. And yeah, I have heaps of photos of like when I went to a car meet with my friend Minna, and he also had a black DC2, and we got some really good photos of our cars together. He also has a YouTube channel, it's called Snapping Seconds, I'll put it in the description. But yeah, had a lot of good times with this car, with those wheels. But yeah, and after that I put a red pod filter on just to match the rocker cover, and yeah, it actually looked really good. So a couple months after that, Jason with the Civic, he helped me out again, and we installed a Type R DC2 spoiler, and on top of that a new full exhaust. So I got this exhaust off eBay for like I think $200 or $300, and I also have a video on this on my channel showing the sound clips after. But this is what it was like when we installed it. It was basically no resonator, so it was just straight through to the muffler after the cat. And the sound clips, when we started this for the first time, it's one of the funniest videos I have with this car. Just me and Jason's reactions are priceless. We're just laughing so hard because it sounded like shit. Like it sounded like a Rice or Honda, but it was really, really loud. And yeah, our reactions are hilarious. Yeah, and this is after I picked up Ryan that day, and I was just showing him the exhaust, and he's like, you need to fix this because it was just obnoxiously loud. So after I got the resonator put in, I didn't have any sound clips of it like that, but it was a nice tone. It still sounded a little bit like Honda-y, but it was good. And I enjoyed the car like that for another few months. But eventually I ended up getting a really nice J's Racing 60 RS muffler, which I spent like $650 on. And it sounded like a proper car and a proper Honda. And I have some sound clips of it. It sounded mint. So yeah, I ended up getting the Honda basically where it looked exactly how I wanted it and it sounded exactly how I wanted it. And for some really stupid reason, I decided to sell it for not even an RS Impreza. It was like a luxury 2-liter version. It was worst decision of my life, and I literally regret it so much to this day. So a couple months after I put the J's Racing in, I sold Veronica, and here's a clip of her leaving for the very last time, and it's depressing. I really don't know what I was thinking, but I do regret it a lot. After I sold the car, the guy that guy sold it to completely stripped and parted it out, and she basically doesn't exist anymore. So basically any chance of me buying this car back is gone, and I have to live with that every day. All my friends are like, you shouldn't have sold it, you shouldn't have sold it, like shut up every time I get upset about it, but you know, what can you do? I had a lot of really good times, memories in this car, and it was such a fun car to drive and own, and I wish I still kept it. So yeah, that's why I honestly think none of you should sell your first car. If you still have it, don't sell it, hang on to it, save up a bit more and buy another car and keep it, because especially if you really, really loved it, like I loved my first car, you're gonna regret it every single day for the rest of your life. So yeah, that's all I have for today, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's something a bit different than I normally do. It's just because of everything that's going on, it's really hard for me to like drive and film new videos or even like get new parts and stuff, because a lot of my hours at work have dropped down, so it's hard for me to afford to like buy new mods for my car. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different from what I normally do, but if you liked videos like this, let me know and I can try and maybe do a bit more. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all of that, and I'll see you guys in the next video.